welcome back. I hope you had a refreshing cup of tea and you're completely ready for this exciting panel session we have ahead. This is our first panel discussion for the day, and we will be discussing strategies, 2021 strategies for the organic F&B, focusing on shopper insights, especially in the pre- and post-pandemic era. The global food and beverages market is expected to register a CAGR of 16.44% from 2020 to 2025, indicating increasing demand for food ingredients. Likewise, in the UAE, the value of organic packaged F&B consumption for 2020 is forecasted to top US dollars 51.2 million. These are some of the stats that have established the boosting demand for organic and natural food and beverages in the region. While we have already learned a lot about the demand, what does the future look like for the F&B consumerism? Our experts have gathered here today to deep into the subject of 2001 strategies for organic and natural F&B products in the Middle East, especially from a consumer point of view. It's my honor to introduce the panel today. First, we have Monique Naval, She is a analyst at Euromonitor International. Euromonitor International is the world's leading independent provider of strategic market research with in-depth understanding of local business information required in today's international business environment. Monique is a senior analyst with Euromonitor International in the UAE. She leads the Middle East and North Africa research and specializes in packaged foods, consumer foods, pet foods, and health and wellness. So this is your encyclopedia for all of these things. Next, we have Omer Chahan, Assistant General Manager at Gulf Fruits Trading Company. Gulf Fruits Trading Company was founded in 2008 and is now one of the foremost suppliers of fruits and vegetables to 4- and 5-star hotels, distributing fruits and vegetables as well, luxury outlets, bespoke eateries, and artisan catering companies. They also supply fresh produce to the royal family of the UAE. Omer Chahan is a 9-year veteran in the industry and has been part of several driven teams in the UAE fresh produce industry. And finally, it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Kirti Meghnani, Head of Retail Procurement at Choithrams Group. Choithrams Group is a household name in the UAE. It existed in the region even before the emergence of New Dubai. As a 75-year-old corporation which is spread across more than 25 countries with 65 stores in the world, the company's distribution business is as big as retailing in terms of value and expanding in the food services and HoReCa sectors as well. He has been with Choithrams Group for the past 24 years and is the head of procurement. So welcome everyone to this panel.
Thank you, Monica.
So now we will dive straight. Thank you, Omer. So now we will dive straight into the important questions that all of our attendees want to know, starting with the market. So we will take this to Kirti first. Kirti, what has been the market like in the organic and natural sector during the pandemic? How far has...
Oops.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Okay, sure. What has the market been like in the organic and natural sector during the pandemic? How far has online and digital played a role during this time?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting me on this panel. I'll speak on behalf of what we have been experiencing at Choithrams. So, organic and natural is not something new that has come during the pandemic. I mean, we've been doing this since the last 10 years now, because we are as far as our ranging is concerned, our merchandising is concerned, we always are ahead of its times. Yes, but during the pandemic, I think the buzzwords that were around was healthy, immunity, and all these words were the buzzwords during the pandemic. So I think people did indulge into getting into more and more organic and natural products, whether it's on food or it's non-food or even fruit and veg. Everybody wanted to have the best, um, the the best on the shelf. So I think it did increase sales during that period, and we've seen that it has sustained the growth that we had. I can't talk about all the categories, in that way. Most of them have not sustained the growth, but I think health and organic section is something that has sustained the growth, and it is still continuing. As far as e-commerce is concerned, yes, we were one of the first ones to move in that. We've been doing e-commerce since end of 2016 now. So we have a platform where we've been serving the consumers through the e-commerce platform. Of course, now we do it through a lot of aggregators also. But again, during the pandemic, we saw a huge rise in the number of orders, the number of lines that people were ordering, and that too also has actually sustained. So people have got used to it now, and it's not that they have stopped ordering online and they've gone back to the brick and mortar stores. Yes, of course, there's a growth that is happening, but it's happening in both the sectors. If you allow me to maybe give you some figures, I think we are doing around 300% more on e-commerce than we were doing last year.
Wow, 300% is certainly a huge leap.
Yeah.
So, Monique, what are your thoughts on this, considering Kirti said 300%, and is it what you see in the region overall?
Hi, Manaka. Yes, we've seen like a huge increase for e-commerce in the region. So mainly because, of course, it's for the convenience of the customers. So they prefer having their groceries delivered to their doors. And one thing also that has a more has a higher increase, higher growth rate compared to the normal packaged food would be organic food, which in the region, the Middle East and Africa region, we have seen an increase of 41% for e-commerce for Middle East and Africa.
Can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Do you have anything to add to this, Omer?
Oh yeah, hi guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the invite as well, Mr. Kirti. Pleasure meeting you, Monique as well.
Thank you.
For e-commerce, especially organic and natural industry, it's had a huge impact on the local food scene. We've seen crazy growth in both natural products, fresh produce as well. But going for organic, there's been a huge shift in the market perception on what should be done with it. Organic produce for some time had been a sort of an exclusive, or only something that high-end consumers were interested in. But with the pandemic coming in and the shift in market understanding, there has been a huge growth that we've seen, especially for organic produce. Even for us, going into the e-commerce and digital business space, the first and only thing people were interested in if the products are organic or not, even natural products and like fruits and vegetables that we deal with. So yeah, the impact has been very visible. I think nobody can deny that. And the growth has been very, very fast as well, which has actually added a lot to the industry itself in terms of what the standards now are in terms of growth and the range of produce that are being done, what the sources are, local, international, the supply chain of it has completely changed. And people are more conscious about what they should be spending on an organic product compared to a conventionally sourced or produced vegetable or fruit or anything related to food.
Brilliant. Yeah, we will also touch upon supply chain just a few moments later. I just wanted to check if there are any statistics or any information on your end for the demand for organic and natural products in the region, and why?
Yes, definitely. So, just a second. So we've seen the growth of organic food in the region by 39% in 2020. So that's a huge increase for 2020 in the region as compared to the 11% growth in retail value globally. That's for retail value, and for retail volume, it's 8%. And we've seen that with the stockpiling that we've seen last year, and the shifts of demand from consumer food service to retail, as well as the preventative health trends that we've seen. So we've seen the organic segment to really grow during the pandemic. And even if the prices for organic are higher, people put more premium into ensuring that they are healthy during the pandemic, and that they are able to fight off the disease and the virus. And also, I'd like to highlight three factors, or three things that are important for consumers in terms of organic food. So first one is health. So we have a survey for the health and wellness survey, and 58% of our global respondents mentioned that health is the main reason that they are eating organic food. And it's because organic products are known to have to be healthier compared to regular products. There is no GMO, no pesticides. The second one is food safety, with 50% of our respondents globally saying that it's their second reason for going for organic. And again, organic food is verified by certification bodies, and the consumers want to ensure that the food that they are taking or eating is safe during these times. And it's also one thing that our region, especially the UAE, is promoting a lot, the food safety, food security. So all of this are all tied together for the second factor that we're looking at. And then third one is environmental concerns, with 47% of our consumers mentioning that environmental concerns is their reason for eating organic food. And it's because it saves the planet from soil and water pollution, as it does not use conventional or agricultural chemical fertilizers.
Yeah, those are some of the concerns that we hear even on a regular basis. So yeah, that sounds absolutely apt. So moving on to Kirti, what are the trends that you've noticed within Choithrams that made you reflect on your supply chain and sourcing patterns?
So I don't think it has to do with anything with the title today of organic foods, but supply chain has been affected since the pandemic, and I think the Mr. Chauhan will also say a few things on this, because air flights were disrupted a lot, and even today we don't have flights to most of the countries. So I think from that perspective, yes, we have been hit a lot. That's what has happened. So the freights have gone up, air freights have gone up. I think even today we are paying almost more than double, or maybe just a bit less than the double of what we used to pay for air freight from UK and also Australia. Australia we're a bit safe because Australian government is subsidizing the air freights until now. So that's about air freight, which has become quite expensive. Sea freight, everybody knows it is still very high. I mean, it's very difficult to get equipment like chilled containers, freezing containers. So on the whole, yes, it's not anything to do with organic and natural. I think on the whole, the supply chain has been disrupted as far as the freight is concerned. Supplies of the raw product also has been affected, because in India, if you see, there was a lockdown, and many there wasn't much of loading happening. So yes, we were out of stock for a lot of time, but I think all those issues have been settled now. So as far as inland transport and all is concerned, I think we are fine. Production of organic on the whole has been increasing. If you look at it per se, each country is doing much more and more to produce more and more organic stuff. So I think from that point of view, maybe in a few years we'll see that the cost of organic might come down, or it will come down to a level where we can get conventional as of today.
Perfect.
I don't know whether I answered the question or not.
Yes, you did. Also, adding to that, I wanted to ask you, are there any specific products that are trending in organic these days? Organic and natural.
That's for me.
That's for Kirti. And then I'll come.
Trending? No, I think most of the products are. There are many products which didn't have an organic variant. Okay, and now if it has an organic variant, it is actually picking up. And there like I said, there are some buzzwords. If you say that it has got turmeric in it, it's moving very well. And so anything which says immunity and things like that, I think it is moving very well. Of course, superfoods have been doing well, but again, it's another thing that people are looking forward to. And then there is a separate, let's say, subcategory, which is like all the diet fads in one, like the keto diets, or I don't know, maybe that even Atkins and all. So these are again some things that people are looking forward to.
Yeah,
of
I
course,
guess
we got a huge free from category also. You have sugar frees, you have gluten frees, all the frees that you have. And then within that, if it is an organic product, it is even more better.
Yeah, people in the Middle East are certainly moving towards that direction. So we can see them on the retail shelves as well. So passing on to Umair. Umair, what are the trends that you have noticed, especially since you work with HoReCa?
Yeah, so just to touch up a little bit on Mr. Kirti's analysis on the supply chain, I would love to add a little bit over there as well. Because like Mr. Kirti mentioned, a lot of supply chain disruptions were experienced last year because of the lockdowns across the countries. Some of them are still continuing. But in our experience, what that has done is that has actually, literally exploded the local fresh produce, organic produce scene. There's a lot of new vendors coming in, bringing internationally standardized quality of products to the UAE's public, made locally, and the government itself has stepped up and made sure that these people are incentivized for the products that they do, the production that they do, and the options that they bring. Naturally grown fresh produce, across UAE is happening in every emirate, and there's a lot of new people, even on small scales, that are doing it. People on large scale that are doing it. People that are teaching other people to do it at their homes, even. So that has really, expanded the reach of organic products to the local communities, actually. So yeah, supply chain disruption did occur, but it actually came as a sort of a blessing in disguise, with a lot of our UAE's organic product reliance going locally. When we move the same thing to the HoReCa sector, you would see a lot of people spending a lot of more time looking at their ingredients and the labels, especially based on their diet options, their personal health. There's been a lot of growth in consciousness about sugar substitutes, what's good for you, what's not good for you. Even though it's sugar free, a lot of the components that are there are not really considered as friendly to the health. And organic products have come in as really a savior, because you can rely on them without a lot of questions, as long as you have a little bit of knowledge of what the products are. Same thing with natural products. You will have that in food. You will have that in cosmetics. It's been sort of a blessing, because people are a lot more educated on this now.
And when we talk about countries that we source from, Monique, do you have any information on the countries that UAE is sourcing from, sorry, Middle East and the UAE are sourcing from for F&B?
I think I'll leave that question to Kirti and Omer, since they are the ones sourcing supplies. Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Kirti? Sure, Omer. So where are you sourcing from right now?
Yeah, so our sourcing has been all across the globe. We've recently seen a lot of growth in European support and European exports, not particularly from UK, I'd say, because of all the things that are going on, but a lot of fresh produce coming in from Holland. They've diversified their supply chains internally in that country as well. So Holland, Spain, Italy, a lot of products coming in from there, natural products, a lot of dairy products coming in from the French region. Then we've also had a very strong expansion in the South African region. Because Africa, a lot of countries are still in lockdown, and with UAE's restriction in place, there have been a very few options from African countries to bring products in. South Africa has been one of those countries which has really grown in terms of the strength of the products that they export to the UAE. Looking towards the eastern side, Chinese products are coming in. Not that much in demand, I'd say, but still there's a steady stream of products coming in from China. Thai products shipped through air, they're very popular. Especially with the range of fresh products that they offer, fresh exotic fruits, healthy options in terms of the same fruit that you will get from another place. Thai products would definitely perform better. Australian products as well. We have organic fresh produce coming in from Australia. A lot of support there from the government, especially Western Australian government has been very keen on expanding this and taking this as an opportunity to grow their international businesses. So yeah, I mean, products have been coming in from across the globe, South America, North America, everywhere. But it's been a challenge streamlining it, I'd say.
All right, so then that's basically the world is your oyster. And Kirti, how about you? Which countries do you prefer to source from when it comes to organic and natural products?
I don't think we have any preference as such for a country, but yes, taking it up from where Chavan has left it, I don't think. Our sourcing is much different than how they do it, because even though we are into FMCG, a bit more than fruit and veg, but also fruit and veg, we also do a lot of organic from Holland, from UK, from Australia. Apart from that, our FMCG is quite vast. I mean, we get organic from starting from Australia. We also have it from India. I don't know, you must be knowing there's a brand called 24 Mantra, which we do from India since the past 5 years. So which has got a range of dals, rice, spices, everything. Everything is organic and it comes from India. Yes, even going to Europe, yes, there are lots of products that come from Europe. UK again is a big market for us. I mean, a big source that we get organic. And then US also, we do a lot of products from the US which are organic or free from, and keto diets and all that stuff. What we are missing in organic, I think we miss a lot of Filipino foods at the moment. We don't have as much as we should be having. Maybe if I don't know, somebody on the panel might be knowing something, we're ready to look at that. I think that is what is maybe a bit of a gap in the market that we would say as far as source is concerned.
So organic food from the Philippines. Yes, I do think maybe Monique, you would agree.
Yes, I'll connect with Kirti with this, and definitely we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see Filipino food
also,
the country.
In fact, we do have organic suppliers from the Philippines. We usually do have them every year at Expo. So we, some of the years we had a pavilion from a whole Philippine pavilion. So yeah, let's hope that happens as well this time. And if you find any Philippines suppliers, you can always connect with them at the marketplace. So yeah. Okay, so that's brilliant. And now moving on to the next segment. This is for Monique. What other opportunities can the segment tap into in the region? And any advice you have for anyone who wants to come into the region?
Yes, definitely. So organic already has a high rate of penetration. I think we have a question coming in, so I'd also address that in baby food, because parents are now very conscious about what they feed to their children, especially with babies. So that's one category or one product that has really benefited from the organic trend. And they are, the parents are likely to look more to look into healthier options for their children. So as an opportunity, so again, to for all of these baby food manufacturers to consider putting in an organic claim, or ensuring that they also have organic options for their products. And also looking forward. And this babies or these children who were introduced into organic food. So one opportunity is for companies to focus on retaining the children who once those children once they leave childhood, by reinforcing the benefits of organic food for their health and for the environment. And so one thing that companies can look into is that brands must identify categories with a high fit with the organic claims, such as breakfast cereals and dairy. Another thing is that countries with mature markets already have a high penetration for organic food in their respective countries. And so one opportunity is for the expansion in emerging markets such as China and Turkey, and also here in the region with UAE, we do have our organic products, organic food. It's still relatively small compared to the conventional products, but it's growing. But there's still a huge room for growth for organic. And now that we've mentioned many times that people now are more educated. People now are looking into labels, into healthier food. So that's another thing that can be an opportunity, as well as the economic recovery. So now people are getting back to their previous salaries. They're getting with the recovery of the economy. They now have more spending power to spend into this slightly more expensive organic food. And also organic labels provide consumers permissibility, which has benefited indulgent products such as chocolates, tablets, and sweet biscuits, confectionery. So during the pandemic, on one hand, there were people who lost jobs, who had pay cuts, and had to tighten their belt or to spend less. But also they are looking at preventative health. So instead of spending their money, for instance, if they get sick, to medicines and to other to related expenses, then they would just prevent this sickness or this disease instead of paying for the healing. And as well as also there were some savings on the consumer side for the other things that were restricted during the pandemic, such as traveling, such as going out and eating out. And so people actually wanted more indulgence at home. So they wanted more premium products to eat. The budget they use for other things were used for food, so they ate more permissible food, so to speak, more premium food. And then lastly, if you look at distribution channels, organic certifications serve as a seal of quality, transparency, and reassurance. And so post-pandemic, health and food safety will remain important drivers for growth. So so we've seen now the increase for organic food in retail. And so as the world reopens again, and as the consumer food service opens, so it's one thing that the consumer food service companies or outlets can also look into adding more organic products, and to make sure that they ride the trend of this organic food. So people are eating organic food at their homes and buying from retail. So it's also a good opportunity to extend that to the food service sector.
So yeah, I mean, Monique, I totally agree with the fact that we go out less means that we spend more on healthier products, because I find myself buying all the healthy snacks in the world because I snack a lot. And this is something that certainly rings true amongst the people of the region, as validated by your data. So, Kirti, what advice do you have for new suppliers that want to enter this region? And the second question I have is, for already existing businesses, how do they establish themselves seeing this organic demand that's already there in the region?
See, if I was to understand the question right, I mean, you are saying that if there is a manufacturer of let's say biscuits and he wants to get into this category, right?
Yeah.
This is what you're saying. Yeah. So I think yes, they have to, because this is the future.
He already has the organic product, and he's a global supplier, but he wants to come to the region.
Okay. Yeah. So what? I think as in all of the products or all of the categories of products, they'll have to do a benchmarking with this region. It could be anything. I mean, I have to give a theory, and then maybe look at it from a practical point of view. So the theory says that whatever is the category of the product, somebody will have to bring it here, gauge the market, how the market is, how many more SKUs are there into that category, whether there's a gap or not. What's the pricing structure? I mean, people cannot pay, double the price of anything. If a regular apple, for example, sells at 8 dirhams per kilo in the market, people will not pay 50 for if it's organic also. So there has to be a benchmarking that will have to be done, whether it works or not into this market. Number one, what are the labeling requirements? That again is true for any product. So that also will be there. Are there any health claims on that label? Again, so that rule again applies onto any product. So similarly, all these organic products will also go through all that scrutiny, from a labeling requirement, from a governmental requirement, and all such things, until it comes onto the shelf. Of course, we'll have to look at what the pricing structure has to be of that product. So I mean, I gave a very bad example of let's say apples, but if I was to look at even, let's say, tea, for example, if the best brands of tea are, I don't know, Lipton, Twinings, and all such teas, I'll have to benchmark it against that. If I have an organic tea, I have to benchmark it against that. And that's how people actually then jump into organic manufacturing. And of course, the labeling and the certification at source, that also is an issue. There are lots of things that they'll have to do even at the source. How do they get the certification? Are the bodies who are certifying that, are they recognized or not in the UAE? People just cannot bring any certificate and say that this is it's an organic product. They can't do that. So there'll be lots of things that they'll have to pass through.
Yeah, of course. There are regulations in every country, and if they want to come here, of course, they have to have a look at that.
Yeah.
So, Omer, quickly, anything to add before we ask for everyone's predictions for the next 6 months? Also, one more thing, sorry, audience, we'll be having a Q&A after the last question. So if you have any questions, I already see some, but if you have any questions, please note them down in the chat box. Yeah, go ahead, Omer.
Yeah, sure. So just to add a little bit to Mr. Kirti's, valuable insight on what needs to be done if you're a producer or somebody who wants to bring your products into the UAE. There's a very strong control that the UAE government has put in place in terms of what kind of products are supposed to be let in, under what kind of labeling. The import registration system that we have in the country is very strong, and all the documentations that needs to verify that your product is actually what you say you are, especially when it comes to organic produce, has to be the Dubai government requires phytosanitary certificates. That's basically a health certificate that has to be issued by your government, your country's government, wherever your product is originating from. And then when it's coming into Dubai, it is also lab tested by the customs teams just to verify it, make sure that that product is actually what you say you are. And, that can be tested to the extent of it, depending on what kind of product you are. Like we deal with fresh produce, so all of those products are tested against standardized, internationally recognized standards from the Dubai government, and only then allowed to be sold in the UAE. So, people can rest assured if a product is available in the supermarket, which is labeled organic, which is claimed to be organic, the Dubai government and the UAE government has put in all the efforts in place to make sure that the claim is actually verified. So, it's a very strong control that we have over here. I would hope the same applies in other countries, but it depends. So that being said, Mr. Ashraf also in the opening note, he made a very good point of bringing your products to the people who are now going to be buying your products. So he made a very good point of millennials being the major stakeholder in the spending power currently, and gauging your products towards their needs is very important. If you're a producer, and making sure that you're targeting them as your main target audience, it's very important. And it's the age of the internet. Marketing principles apply to organic products as they apply to anything else. So all those things have to be taken care of as well.
Okay, great. So can we have a quick, just 1 or 2 line prediction of what's going to happen in the next 6 months for organic and natural products, starting with Monique?
Yes, definitely. I think I've mentioned already that it's still poised to grow over the next 6 months as well as in the next 5 years. Again, it's driven by the main factors would be health, food safety, and environmental concerns.
Kirti?
Same thing. I mean, you also said in your opening remarks that it is poised to grow. That I think you said 16% until 2025. I think it will do. It will do that. Maybe more.
Oh, wow. Okay. And Omer?
Yeah, we will see a lot more options, I guess. It's no longer a one solution fits all. So I believe there will be a lot of local options coming in, lot of international options coming in, which were not really introduced to the market. UAE being the hub, the regional hub of everything happening in the world. I think we're going to see a lot more options, cheaper options even. More economically viable options for the communities to choose from.
Brilliant. That was a great discussion. And we do have several questions from the audience. This one is for Monique. Monique, which food sector specifically has seen a major rise in the region in terms of organic and vegan?
Yes, just to repeat what I've said earlier, so it would be baby food and confectionery products. Because these are for baby food, it's because parents are looking more into ensuring the health of their children, of their babies, and for confectionery or for snacks categories, because consumers are looking at permissible indulgence. So they're looking at more premium products while they are snacking and while they are and that's how they indulge themselves instead of going out, instead of traveling.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is to anyone. How do you verify organic is actually organic? And why is organic food not promoted as healthy eating instead of pricing it so high and people cannot afford it? Who would like to take this?
You want me to take that?
Yeah, sure, Kirti.
Yeah, so as we said, organic food has a certification, which is verified at the source. So we also do our own due diligence in looking at whether people are issuing fake certificates or not. But if we are not satisfied with those certifications, even we don't get into it while we are doing importing. And of course, so and the same applies to anything that we buy even locally. Because anything that is let's say imported by any other distributor also has to go through the same process. So before even we start listing those products, we get into the certification part of it first, and then we see how it is worked upon. Of course, if these are national brands, then national brands usually don't play around with these things. But if there are smaller brands, then we definitely get into what the ingredients are, and if we have any doubt, we also get it lab checked locally. Coming to the pricing, of course, growing organic stuff is not easy. It takes up a lot of time and effort and money. I think Omer will verify this. I think, Omer, I've heard that if you need to grow something organic on normal land, you have to keep it barren for 3 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it has been used for agricultural purposes, conventional agriculture, you're not allowed to. That's a standard that you have.
Yeah. So then what happens is the farmer doesn't have any revenue for 3 years, and after 3 years his revenue starts. So organic farming is not easy. It's quite an expensive proposition. So that's why these pricings are high, and plus because it's natural, there's a bit of more wastage at the source. And also, again, I would like to go back to maybe Omar's category of fruit and veg, where you have these what they now call the ugly fruits. So even those are sort of discarded. So that's why the price starts jumping up. It's not that we are doing it on purpose, or the manufacturers are doing it on purpose. It is just the cost of production itself is very high. But yes, as and when even manufacturers will get into much more organic farming and organic production, the prices are going to come down.
Okay. Yeah, so as the session comes to an end, we have actually 4 final questions, but we have to wrap it now. It's really interesting to see how organic and natural F&B is well on its way to the mainstream, and also considering pricing. I think Kirti mentioned that perhaps 4-5 years down the line, we will see the pricing be maybe slightly higher only than conventional, like part of conventional. So let's see how that goes. And I'd like to give a big thank you to all our panelists who are live with us now. And this panel only shows the interest of organic and natural products and will further strengthen the online trade community. For viewers, we have a lot of suppliers of organic products, and you can easily connect with them. You just have to go to our main portal. You can connect with them, and you can also request for quotations for specific products that you want, and you will get many quotations all at once. So if you're a buyer looking for a specific product, you just have to request a one-click quotation, and you will get a lot of quotations on that. Plus, you can also message, call in real time, and also chat real time with the supplier. So thank you very much. And
Thank you.
let's check out some coffee and have our next session at 2 p.m. Are there any clean beauty enthusiasts out here? This one would be perfect for you. At 2 p.m., we have the Natural Beauty Forum, leveling up your natural beauty business at a time of digital disruption. But before that, we have exhibitors from the F&B category who will demonstrate their innovative. As you can see, there is a portal button over there. So all you have to do is click on that portal button and you will be directed to the portal where you have several options. Yeah, just a second. So if you click on that portal right now, you will have several options over there, which show you the conference schedule. You have the marketplace as well. So yeah, please take your time in exploring this one. And before we have the 2 p.m. session on natural and organic beauty products, we are going to have a session at 12:45 on where our suppliers will demonstrate their products, the F&B products, and there will be a live broadcast on that. So yes, once again, I thank all the